Welcome back to Trailer Park Cooking. I'm Genie B. Delishus. Many of my fans have asked me to give my recipe for cinnamon rolls, but before I get started on my cinnamon roll recipe, I want to give a shout out to all my friends, followers, subscribers, and people who make comments on my show. So I'm going to start with a small list. I can't get everybody since there's so many, but every time we do a show, I'm going to try to make a shout out for everyone. So here it goes. Dewey, Vicky, Joyce, Kiki, Sandy, Smitten with Juju. It's the voodoo that you do. I like your name. I mean, not that I don't like anybody else's name. I like that one. It was really kind of a catchy phrase. Tim, Nate, Russ, Kiara, Rogan Pogan, L. Cindy Sosa, B. Adams, David Sosa. Thanks for all your comments and your support. Don't forget to like me, give me a thumbs up, share me, subscribe to me. I appreciate all your time that you spend watching my show, as well as leaving comments. So now on to the cinnamon roll recipe. Now a lot of cinnamon roll recipes, they let the dough rise twice. Well, this one is a shortcut. So I have about 3 cups of flour, 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and I'm using kosher salt, 1 egg, 3/4 cup of milk. Some people want to use water, but I don't. 2½ teaspoons of butter, and a dollop of sour cream. A rapid rise yeast. So you mix it up, you knead it for a little bit, and then you set it aside for 10 minutes. So that would be my flour. My sugar. My salt. And then I'm going to give that a good stir. The rapid dry yeast. Woo! And here's the trick to this part. I'll set that aside. I'm going to take my milk and I'm going to add my dollop of sour cream. Just kind of break it up inside the milk. Now, of course, you can always add a little bit more water if the dough's not firm enough. And I'm going to throw it in the microwave for about 40 seconds. You don't want it to be over 120 degrees. You don't want the milk to be scalding hot, but just hot enough. Maybe 45 seconds was a little bit too long. Put the butter in there for about 10 seconds. So where I'm at in Idaho, it's not the warmest, and of course it's too warm outside to have your heat on, but too cold in your house to make a good bread rise. So what I do is I preheat the oven to 200 degrees and then I shut it off. I'm just going to add that butter to my milk and sour cream. Finish melting that butter off the rest of the way. Start pouring my milk and butter mixture into my bowl. I'm just kind of bringing it in from the sides. I'm going to crack my egg. And then I'm going to start mixing it with the spoon that I have. And the dough's going to start to form. Alright, and then I'm just going to set this stuff that I've been using aside. And then I'm just going to turn this dough out onto the pan. And this is what I mean about getting it all mixed up. So see how it's sticking to my hands? I just need a little bit more flour. You're going to set it aside for 10 minutes. At this point, it's not going to rise. My mom used to say, knead the dough until it's like a baby's butt. But in all reality, it's, I say until it looks smooth. And that looks good. So we're just going to set it aside for a minute. Boo. So it's been 10 minutes and our dough is rested. I'm just going to stick it back on this pan. I'm going to flour my roller so that the bread doesn't stick to the roller. And I'm just going to roll it as big as this pan. So I use about a cup and a half of the sugar ingredients. So it's half brown sugar and half granulated sugar. A tablespoon and a half of cinnamon. And then I just mix that all together nice and gently. All pretty like that. In the meantime, I've softened some butter and let it chill again so that it looks like this. And I'm just gonna kind of pour that spread out on my cinnamon roll, and that's like 3 tablespoons of butter. And then I take my cinnamon and sugar mixture and I just start sprinkling that all over. Go to the very edge of your roll. See how wonderful my hands are? And then I reserved a little bit because I'm going to sprinkle it on top. And at this point, we roll. So you just lift the edges up and we just roll it. I try to pull out the edges as I'm rolling. So they look like that. And then I take whatever the edges that don't match up and kind of pull them together and pinch a little bit on the edge so that it stays. Now I'm going to cut it into slices. So this direction, as equal as I can. If you have a round pan, it makes better cinnamon rolls, I think, but I just have this throwaway pan. And this is where we're going to just stick them in here. Some plastic lids. The oven's not hot enough to melt that plastic. And now we let it sit for about 60 to 90 minutes. And when they're done rising, we'll sprinkle some more sugar and stuff on top of it. So while we're waiting for the dough to rise, we're gonna make a little frosting. And I'm gonna use a little bit of lemon zest and a little bit of the lemon juice. And I'm just gonna cut just the lemony part off of the outside of the lemon, a little bit at a time. You need about 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm just going to squeeze a little tiny bit of lemon juice into the butter I already have in this bowl. And then I'm going to take a dollop of sour cream. I'm going to mix that with the butter and the lemon. And of course, for the sugary part. We're going to add some powdered sugar. And then I just kind of make a guesstimate. There's only 8 cinnamon rolls there, so. And then just stir because powdered sugar doesn't take much water. Just a light lemon flavor. All right, so it's been an hour and a half or so, and our cinnamon rolls have risen to twice their size. So what I'm going to do now is just take a little bit more of my sugar and cinnamon mixture and just sprinkle it on top. I'm not going to use the whole thing. Just like that. It's like this and like that and like this. No. Alright, and we're going to stick it in the oven for, oh, I don't know. Could be a half an hour, could be an hour, I can't remember. So golden brown. Tell her golden brown, whatever that is. I have the oven turned on to about 425. So it looks like our cinnamon rolls are done. Nice and golden brown. They look delicious. While they're still hot, I'm going to put our glaze over the top of them. Cinnamon rolls. Yummy. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now I'm just going to cut it open so you can see the middle. Yummy. As my kids were growing up and I wanted to make them something cheap and special, making cinnamon rolls or things like of that nature are super cheap. Thank you for watching Trailer Park Cookin'. I'm Genie B Delicious. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join me next time for another great recipe. Bye, y'all.